revealed why men are naturally funnier than women. Now, this is from the Daily Mail, and this is from a long time ago. This is almost 10 years old. But this debate's been going on for decades. I've seen this discussed on daytime debate shows literally decades ago. And I've got my own opinions on this, and I've seen other people's opinions, but it's I'd say that make me laugh. I like a man who makes me laugh. You'll frequently hear women saying that, and they love a man who can make them. When women say they want a man with a sense of humour, what they mean is they want a man who will make them laugh. And make means you take control of the other person, and laughter also breaks down a woman's inhibitions, and it's a very good way to get to know someone. That's if you want to get to know a woman these days, but it doesn't work the other way round. If you think about it as well, it's like that other phraseology that women use: weak at the knees. They want a man to make them weak at the knees, drop dead gorgeous, tall, dark, and handsome, swept off their feet. It's all indicative of their natural desire to be with the dominant male. They want the dominant male. They just won't admit it, of course, because feminists have programmed them to lie. So yeah, when they say great sense of humour, they want a man to make them laugh, to take control. And another point I think to be made is that if you see, they wouldn't dare do it these days, but back in the old days when men used to tell jokes about women or their mother-in-law or their wife, well, my wife fat, and then the joke, it doesn't, when you sort of denigrate women in that manner, a joking manner, you can't emasculate a woman. You can't make the woman feel small or embarrassed. But the opposite, I've seen female comedians in the past, and as soon as they start on men, attacking men, that's a bad thing, and you can cut the atmosphere in the auditorium sometimes with a knife. You just get that feeling like the men just start to bristle because it is a threat to their masculinity. So no, you can't emasculate a woman. Anyway, on to the article. Comedy comes more naturally to men than women, says the professor, and he's not joking. But it's nothing to do with the chap's funny bone. It's all down to testosterone. Really? Professor Sam Schuster of Norfolk and Norwich University Hospital? What is he a professor of? It doesn't say. Got on his bike, his unicycle, to see how the genders reacted to his amusing hobby. Women tended to make encouraging, praising comments, while men jeered and tried to make jokes. The most aggressive were young men, he told the British Medical Journal. For fuck's... whatever. Previous findings have suggested women and men differ in how they use and appreciate humour. Women tend to tell fewer jokes, and male comedians outnumber female ones. Actually, that's just reminded me, a good fella recently made a video about a bunch of female comedians demanding that there were more female comedians. I mean, it's the same with every other bloody job. You can't force someone to do something they don't want to do or they're not good at. Women just aren't good at humour. Research suggests men are more likely to use humour aggressively by making others the butt of the joke. Professor Schuster believes humour develops from aggression caused by hormones such as testosterone, which is found predominantly in men. Well, at this point I'd suggest maybe the professor and his hospital or whatever should, I don't know, give women those hormone patches, that stuff that bodybuilders have, or they take injections. Give them male hormones, give them testosterone, and then let's see whether it makes them more manly, whether it makes them aggressive, or whether they suddenly become hilariously fucking funny. I mean, wouldn't it make sense if you were a comedian, you wanted to be a comedian, you just take a load of testosterone and all of a sudden you'd be like fucking Richard Pryor or Eddie Murphy or something. Oh, fuck this. Scroll down for more. God help us. He documented the reaction of over 400 people to his unicycling antics on the streets of Newcastle upon Tyne. Almost half responded verbally, more being men, 75% of whom attempted comedy, shouting something like, "Lost your wheel." I'd probably shout something like, "Did your wife get the other half of the bike in the divorce settlement?" I mean, would you want to be married? If you're a woman, seriously, listen to this. Would you want to be married to a guy who rode a unicycle? Well, what are your hobbies? Well, like to go and ride my unicycle. It's really something intrinsically funny. Which, by the way, he goes on to say in this article. Very few women made comic remarks. Well, they wouldn't. They're not funny. We've already established that. You've even admitted it yourself, Professor. Often the men's comments were mocking and intended as a put-down. Young men in cars were particularly aggressive. They lowered their windows and shouted abusively. And what did they shout? No examples here. This type of behaviour decreased among older men, who tended to offer more admiring comments, much like the women. Admiring? Would you admire someone on a unicycle? Sounds like a poser as well. The idea, he says, that unicycling is intrinsically funny does not explain the findings, said Professor Schuster. I don't think you can explain your findings, Professor, and no, it is not intrinsically funny. Intrinsically funny. The simplest explanation, he says, because he can't work it out, is the effect of male hormones, and the initial aggressive intent seems to become channeled into a more subtle and sophisticated joke, so the aggression is hidden by wit. Ah, dear, dear. Another expert, Dr. Nick Neve, is a psychologist at the University of Northumbria who has been studying the physical, behavioural and psychological effects of testosterone. He suggested men might respond aggressively because they see the unicycling man as a threat, attracting female attention away from themselves. Yeah, right, because the prevalence of men riding into nightclubs on their unicycles to be greeted by a shower of knickers and bras from hysterical young women, I mean, that's well documented, isn't it? Where do they find these academics? Anyway, the article finishes off, this would be particularly challenging for young males entering the breeding market, and thus it does not surprise me that their responses were the more threatening. Oh, I don't know what the message from this one is, guys. Just, if you got a nice car, Ferrari, Lamborghini, trade it in for a unicycle. You can't go wrong. I'll stick the article in the comments section and pin it to the top. But oh dear me, fuck. Thank you.